Matt said he had a news story that had just happened, so he could put it in his week.
Yeah.
I have a news story that is my week.
Pretty much,
And
it's been mine
the
too.
same one that happened to Clemps. So do you want to take it away, and then we'll just
sure.
swap it out on the shit show?
Let's get it out of the way, because I know that Wooly and Matt don't play it. But yeah, so Stormblood has come out for early access. Now, that alone should basically mean we should expect these things to happen, but holy
server queues,
crap.
The server crap, that kind of shit, the same thing that happens to everything.
Yep.
This is
so bad.
One of the most unprecedented failures of a launch
What do you mean?
I have ever seen for anything, because of the way that it played out was the worst version of every event you could possibly have. So
I loved that go on.
Did you end up transferring to a European server?
I did, yes.
Can you get on that server at all?
Well, the other day it took me a whole day to get on.
To get through your queue?
It said that the server is congested, and I was like, oh boy. And because I changed servers, I had to change my retainer name, and it wouldn't let me do it because it was sorting out all of the server stuff. So I couldn't get in the queue, which meant I had to just sit on my ass and wait for it to sort it out. And I know that's it's partly my fault for transferring, but whatever.
Well, they gave you reasons to transfer.
Yeah,
they told you to get off our American servers and get over to your dirty European servers.
Yeah. And then, when I actually, logged on, you just get logged off again because the connection issues are going everywhere. And I know definitely from your case, Pat, because you're actually in the Stormblood content right now. And
yes.
I don't think we're going to be posting spoiler content, but...
No.
Definitely not.
Was everybody down or were some people getting in?
There are two completely different, highly specific issues. There are people that are having Clemps' problem, which is just straight up, something happened to my character at some point, and I can't log into the server. And then there's the problem that almost everybody had, which is the one that I ran into. So I was supposed to start the start of a 24-hour stream on Friday, which has now been super canceled. Couldn't be more canceled.
Holding that button down.
Because it's funny that you mentioned that, actually, because that's the problem. So I start playing. It's a fucking MMO special. Everybody files into their zone and they go talk to the guy and they spread out and they do the quest, right?
Yep.
So I'm putzing around. I'm taking my time, and I hear some people saying, "Hey, there's a quest where you talk to this guy called Raubon, and it loads you into a solo instance where you have a boss fight by yourself, like in an instance piece of content, right?" And people are like, "Oh, they can't get in." They talk to him, and it seems to be bugged out because you talk to him, and the cutscene happens, and it fades to black, and then you just get kicked right back out. And I'm like, "Oh, okay, I'll wait for that to clear up," and I go do some stuff. And this is Friday morning at 5:30 a.m. So then I get to Raubon, and there's 400 people standing next to this guy. And this is, and they have split the servers. They've split all those zones into 3 instances each. So that means there's 1,000 people standing next to him on my server.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's click on him for a while. Oh, it doesn't work. Oh, no one.
They didn't fix it for a day and a half. It was just people standing by this guy.
Getting through. And this is I took my time. If you fucking played it normally and just went main quest, this is 45 minutes in one half of the first zone with no access to anywhere else. So you're stuck. You are stuck. There is not much you can fucking do. Mm-hmm. Okay, so then...
I just like the explosion of spur of the moment memes of it, where it has there's one of Spider-Man trying to attack something, and there's the wall, and they Photoshop Roban's face onto it.
Yeah, that was the guy in my static that made that.
All bad launches have memes that Nintendo store on Japan had this character that they started.
when you try to log in the Nintendo Switch store, there was like this error that they would get, and they started meme the error where it was like a monster, like a kaiju attacking the city. But when they get the details,
but when it's so hyper focused down to a character that you can attach to this, that is the ultimate base.
Like how he's just like this Square Enix server man that just won't let anybody past him.
Or basically, and he's a character that people really like. So
unleash the Photoshops. Yeah,
it takes about 6 hours, and the devs come out with a response. Go okay. So there's the instance servers, which are separate from the dungeon ones and the proper server ones.
Yeah.
They go, those things are getting super fucked up right now. What we're going to need you to do is do something else and come back later.
Okay. Oh, I love it.
And that's not a solution.
So obviously, people getting very, very frustrated.
Well, the reason they're getting frustrated is that a couple people, including streamers, if you hauled your ass and skipped every cutscene, like maybe 100 people per server got there before the bottleneck and totally got through.
Okay,
so it's like a door that's closing.
Yes,
and just slide underneath.
And if you like are just like I don't want to hear this cutscene, I'm just rushing and I don't even.
Oh yeah, no. You learn how to skip that cutscene real fast. Okay. You literally you XX XX left X circle X over for and people are hitting it for hours. So it's one of those things where MMO players don't behave as rational actors. So instead of just going off and doing something else, what do people actually do on the early launch of the day, on Friday, the day they took off from work?
Camp.
They literally sit there
it's really sad.
For 50 hours.
Set up shop. And absolutely.
So
create a community, little impromptu
Friday,
festival.
All the way through. Nothing. Nearly nobody gets through. The free company has 300 people in it.
Yeah.
Bad for you. I felt so bad.
But tailgate party though, right?
Okay, so here's the part that's really awesome. You ready? After Raubon, people that actually got through, like a dozen people, there's another solo instance less than a half hour later that uses the same servers.
Oh, yeah.
At the guy's son, Pippin.
Okay.
And then people are like, I'm through Pippin! And then about half hour after that started to happen, uh-oh. I'm now stuck at the second wall.
It's so great. I love it. I saw this,
Maria.
Rose.
And Pippin's cutscene is even harder to skip because it gives you a warning. Make sure to set some time aside because there's going to be a lot of cutscenes.
The way you're talking about it makes it sound like a raid.
Like 6 or 7 dialogue prompts. Then skip the cutscene, then it boots you out. Now, occasionally it'll boot you out and lock you out of the server for an hour or so. Occasionally it'll lose your character under the world or whatever. But this was just broken. Nobody's getting through up until fucking. So me and the guys in my static were just like, fuck it, we're gonna do it, and we sat there all night, Saturday into Sunday morning.
Oh my god!
And then at 7 a.m. Oh, sorry, I forgot the wonderful part. Eventually, enough people got through to be able to beat bosses, and then a dev message comes out and says, "Okay, so we don't know what's causing this, but if you beat this boss, there's a high likelihood your character will be clipped out of the game world, and a GM will have to go move you. And until then, you can't log in."
Welcome to Stormblood.
That's awesome.
So people who got through are like, yeah, I did it. I'm fighting Sano. I beat her. Why? Oh, boy. My character doesn't even show up on the login screen. And so it ended up being that the fix for that was that because they added swimming in all these new areas, that if you were like doing the sit down or lie down emote when you went into the boss fight, and then when you came out, your character would be lower than the ground.
Oh my god!
And you would be in like for developer friend, he called it null space. You would be your coordinates in the game world wouldn't exist
out of world. Yeah.
So it'd try to load you in out of world. It couldn't. So you'd be stuck until a GM literally comes and moves you individually.
Oh wow! Wow!
Whilst like all of this was happening, I went onto Twitter and I saw the most heartwarming image of community that was just it was a picture of about 400 or 300 people all in a line They were all in a straight line, taking their turns talking to this guy. And it was a very organized.
Come on, hurry up!
Yeah.
I like
Exactly.
I love seeing that type of thing. There was a recent image similar to that on Guilty Gear Rev 2 where there's arcade cabinets that you meet up in online lobbies for, and one guy was on a win streak and everyone was just politely standing behind him in a massive line. I love that.
Guy.
So, like, these are all frustrating enough before you deal with player behavior that is trying to fuck you. So next to these two people that you're mashing cutscene go through for hours, there's enemy spawns, and people are walking over to the enemies, dragging them over to the group, standing on it so the AoE hits every single fucking person and knocks them out of the cutscene so that they can get they can get in when everyone gets knocked out.
Yeah.
And then people who are far enough, they're like level 68, they unlock flying in the zone because you come back on the other side. They unlock flying, and they're parking their giant flying mounts like directly above the line.
There are villains everywhere.
Like right above. And they're doing all these bullshit like fancy emotes and fucking with people. And people found out that one of the Astrologian's new skills sounds like the menu noise for when you load in. So they just spam it. So you're in the black screen and you hear Earthly Star. You go, I'm in! And it's like, no, it's just that fucking Astro ability. God damn it.
Wow.
And then my favorite is some servers were good, some servers were not. People figure there are 2-person mounts that you can get on. So if somebody has flying, you can get on the mount. It's like, hey, how about you pay me 1,000,000 gil, and I will fly you over the wall to the other part of the zone, so you can start exploring the zone.
That is I'd totally do that. Are you kidding me? Wow. I'd be a villain for a
Uber
day.
inside Final
I'd be a
Fantasy
villain.
14.
What a fucking hustle, man.
I'd rub my hands together and lick my
higher
lips.
than normal surge happening. I'm not sure if you want to pay this amount of gil.
Yeah.
I changed my class
2.5x.
I changed my class to rogue and really roleplay it. Oh, come over here. Pay me gil. I'll take you over the wall.
This is bad, obviously, but what made it way worse is like the development team's awful PR.
They have been
awful.
silent, haven't they?
They mentioned twice on Friday morning, hey, the instant servers are fucked up. Just go do something else and come back. They didn't say anything about it until like 5 hours after it was fixed on Sunday, saying, hey, we moved some resources around. Now 20,000 people an hour are getting through these bottlenecks. We fixed it. But all of Friday and all of Saturday, they're posting these minor bug updates. Like, oh, we found a hotfix for the boss bug where you get clipped out of the world. Or, oh, hey, we fixed the PvP server. And everyone's like, who gives a fucking shit, man?
Well, I assume the bigger problem to fix just took longer.
And, well, the worry was that they didn't know how to fix it. Because this exact scenario occurred at the launch of A Realm Reborn and persisted for almost 2 weeks.
Ooh.
And that one would kick you off the server nearly every time you tried. And people actually formed lines on that and totally just...
Productive weekend.
So
it's been fun.
So you eventually get through, and then you get stuck on a boat, and then people try and enter the dungeon. And they get so just very typical, like horrific MMO launch. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but Sunday morning at about 6:15 a.m., I sent both of you a message on Twitter. And then that message disappeared, and the message became Nevermind.
Yeah.
So what that was is going...
I assumed you had killed yourself.
I had no idea.
Like, Nevermind, bam.
I was scrolling back for a missed conversation about something going horribly wrong.
So what that was at 5:30 a.m. after sitting there and spamming on fucking Pippin's stupid cutscene for close to 6 hours, going into Monday morning, or Sunday morning, going... Okay, guys, listen. I'm obviously coming in to do the podcast. is the schedule that you guys planned for my vacation set in stone yet? Because I can just come in on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
Okay.
And
the way
push
that
this
was
shit-
worded was like, because of this bullshit going on.
Well, no, it's like...
And I was like, I don't know what
it's-
bullshit it was, so I'm panicking,
It's
going
like-
like,
it's
is
like-
something blowing up? Is something happening?
No, it's like, hey, look, I took a week off work so I could play my video game like a big nerd,
Oh,
right?
man.
If I can't fucking play it, I might as well just
Right.
fucking come to work and
Right.
just take the time later, right?
Right.
And then about 40 minutes after I sent that, it was this miraculous... It was like a miracle because... I'm on voice chat with all these people that have been trying for hours, and all of a sudden somebody goes, "I got in!" and they start, cheering, yay, because they're so happy.
What a hero.
And then somebody else
golden
goes,
ticket.
"I just got in." And then about 10 seconds after that, I got in. And
I am
then,
Spartacus.
And then a friend of mine
I am G Prime.
hears that, and he's fucked off. He's grinding bullshit because he's like, I'm not going to waste my time. And he goes, I got to get to the zone before news gets out because it's 5 a.m.
Yeah.
And once news gets out,
Oh, yeah.
even with the
the
new
storm.
servers that they must have added, it felt like they just turned on a bunch of servers. It's going to stick again. Runs over.
The
Everybody's
storm
getting
of
it.
people. Oh boy!
And then it's been intermittent since then. So as for the expansion itself,
You're like, it's fine.
the content of that expansion
It's not worth
is
all this.
amazing, and it's way better
Very
than the
fine.
last expansion. Like all the battle system changes are great.
I
Like,
am
Clemson's
so
been
glad
playing
to
his
hear that.
bard, and he's really happy with it.
Oh, yo, bards! The changes to bards are so like they feel like a proper like musician class now because you have to sing. Like previously, you were essentially an archer that would buff people when their like MP or TP was low, but now it's just like continuous songs where you sing like Mage's Ballad and your
Are they
entire party
dirty?
gets
Are
a
they
crit
dirty
buff.
songs?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're filthy.
Foe's Requiem is dirty.
Yeah.
So to
But yeah.
explain to these chuckle fucks, because they don't play MMOs, but they know enough about them. In the
I'm a chuckle fuck for not sitting
That's
for
right.
6 hours and clicking left X.
I was celebrating Father's Day when you were doing that.
So I prepared for this, Wooly. I knew you would do that. Mister, I'm going to go to a con with my PS4 and
there it
literally
is.
lie in bed all weekend mashing
yeah.
the Street Fighter thing.
Oh yeah.
Don't you judge me. Don't you judge.
It ain't judging. I'm just saying.
Wait, was that the launch of 5?
That was
that was the beta.
that was the beta.
Oh, it was the beta,
I
that's right.
fully embraced that. I ain't calling anyone else a chuckle fuck on
you
it.
don't play the game, but you understand the
Oh,
like-
it's in there.
So the
Absolutely.
thing with this thing, though, to
Absolutely.
go back to the bug, the worst part, it's like everyone is screaming, take the servers down and fix it, because this just makes people stand there for 24 hours a day
Yeah.
mashing to get in.
So SFV servers at the time was a Twitter that was like popping up with little regular updates and stuff. Was there a like dedicated?
Nope.
No. Okay.
Nope.
right.
The devs would occasionally put out a message say, "Hey, we fixed that bug where you sit down and get locked out. Hey, we added more stuff to the PvP so you can PvP." And you're like, "Who
So
gives a shit?"
we fixed other things where we want you to go. Go other places.
Did you?
Yeah,
did you go
basically.
to
do
the,
other
like,
things.
official-
Don't look here. Nothing here.
And
Did you go to the official forums while that was happening?
Yeah,
And
no. There's
just-
the tech support threads on that are there's just like
Just-
people literally screaming all caps on the official forum. Just, fucking fix it! Why are you doing right? That shit?
People are more like I've seen people do, just talk to us, give us a reply, a response, anything, and it's so sad.
And if
I just feel like everyone's like rubbing Yoshi P's back and giving him kisses. It's just like, don't worry, everything will be fixed.
You want the real shit, like the real source of like frustration that borders on like hatred of the fact that Square Enix is a Japanese company. Japanese servers did not have this problem.
Ooh, mama,
Just period.
that's a little
And
bit
it's impossible to
frustrating.
transfer to those, I suppose.
It is possible to transfer, and what that ended up with is Tonberry is the Japanese server for English-speaking players. And Saturday night, people were being hit with 5,000-person queues, which take 4 hours to get through, because people heard that the Japanese servers didn't have the problem
and
paid their $18.
Yeah.
And then less than 10 hours later, the problem was fixed. Now, I'm not saying they just care about the Japanese servers. I'm not
those are
saying.
great.
But what I'm saying is they only care about the Japanese servers. That's what I'm saying.
It's like an ocean that's dammed off at like 3 points, and there's a funnel, a single like
Oh, yeah.
water
Hole.
tube that the water can go through, and that's the only place it can go.
And people were able to find old
safe
interviews where they're like, the solo instance server can per server can accommodate about 100 people at a time, right? And this is from like 2 years ago, so they probably upgraded. Maybe it's 200 people, right? Gilgamesh and Balmong, which are the two biggest American servers, had like 16 and 17,000 people online trying to get into this one thing. Trying to get into a hole built for 150, 200 people. Yeah.
Okay. You know what this sounds like? This sounds like a fake game.
Yeah.
Like it sounds like they opened up like a game or like put it out in a store and then just put a velvet rope and waited, and people were like, "What's this velvet rope? Mission Hill,
lining up outside the boiler room."
So people go, and then there's this MMO guy, like whatever, a quest giver, and he's just like, "Oh man, the adventures you'll have!
I can't even describe what's back in this room.
Can do anything."
And there's all these explosions coming from behind him, and like merriment, and he's like, "Yo, oh geez, you never want to go anywhere again."
Because at some point people start freaking out, and they're like, "What? Did they not finish the game? Is this the solution? Is the game actually delayed?"
And then at the end, the NPC kills himself and drops dead.
It was the greatest MMO of all time.
A touchstone for our generation.
First Tupac, then Kurt.
Now Stormblood. And I can say I was there.
Well, not really, but I was at the front door.
And there's all sorts of little details that make this better. Like, the game has a feature where the larger a group of people are in proximity to each other, it creates crowd noise. So if there's like 10 people standing next to each other, next to a guy, you hear whisper, whisper, whisper. Blah,
talk, talk. Okay, huh.
This, like, you would come out of the cutscene and you'd know it failed to load in because you would hear this roar of in-world like characters shouting and yelling because there's so many of them that the game is like, oh, they're going to a big fight, I guess.
Okay.
Like,
that's right.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, they do that when you're in like fates and stuff like that. So obviously, when you're running, it sounds like there's a giant battle going on.
Every part of it was a mess. But back to what I was saying. To explain why Clumps is so happy about his Bard. So Bard in A Realm Reborn was a class that could run around, and every button it hit had no cast times, and it was just instantaneous, and everybody else stands and does their abilities, and Bards, you can literally see them going around bosses for funsies, right? In Heavensward, they said, okay, no, fuck it, every single ability you have has a cast time, and you're basically a mage with a bow now.
Yeah.
And the class got people. I have a lot of friends who played it and just like, this is the worst fucking thing ever. It's like, what if you turned Ryu into a charged character in a patch? Like, just, hey, Street Fighter V version 3.2 is out.
It would shake things up.
Now Guile does Shoryuken motions, and he no
down. Kick, flash kick.
And they finally, rolled that back. So, like, Clemps and my pal Striver just...
It's beautiful. It's so beautiful. You can just run around like a crazy person. It's so great. But speaking of, like, combat in general, I wanted to talk a bit about how wrong Yoshi P is when he says, when people were bringing up the criticism of, well... Are you sure it's a good idea to have 2 new DPS in this expansion? And he goes, nah, listen, guys, okay. If you're a tank, or if you're a healer, you're going to stick with being a tank or healer, because you're used to that, and that's the class you play. So I don't think you get how it works. This is like a brand new class. People are going to want to play them.
So... The reason I'll give a slight more backstory. Most of the things you're going to run in this game with parties, you run through the duty finder, you queue up, and you wait. Right?
Yes.
Are you a tank? You click that button, you're in. Period. Your wait time is negative 10 minutes because you're in so fast. Okay. You're a healer. You wait 2 or 3 minutes. You're a DPS, which like 8 of the 14 classes in the game are. Get ready to sit for like half an hour to an hour because they added Red Mage and Samurai to this expansion, and they're both DPS, and they're the most popular classes ever. And every single fucking person in the world is playing them now. And so Yoshi P's statement that Clemens brought up, not only is it super wrong, people were quitting their tanks and healers to play this these classes, so it was like worse than it ever was.
So, and like, the most annoying thing is that Stormblood, like as Pat said, as far as content goes, like I haven't actually reached Stormblood yet, but from everything I've seen, it looks fantastic, and I can't wait to get to it. Yeah, but now, unfortunately, he's made a big no-no, because beforehand the queues for DPS were like 15 minutes. Now they have doubled, and it's 30 minutes. So, in order to get into a DPS dungeon or to queue up as DPS, you have to sit on your ass for half an hour. And it's I just don't understand.
Dungeons last
why
20 to 25.
And this happens every time a new class is introduced, pretty much.
Well, they don't
that
get
fits
it
into that.
So the last time they
category or
added new
paradigm.
classes, they added one of each role, and the tank one was Dark Knight. So
Okay,
all
so
of a sudden,
balances
Dark
out.
Knight was the new popular
Right,
one.
okay.
Yep. Mhm.
And DPS in the game, we're going, what? It says DPS in need on the thing. What the fuck is that?
Yeah.
But this time it's all one role, because it's mainly just tank. One tank, 2 DPS, 1 healer, right? Problem is that should be 25, 50, 25% of the pop, right? Instead, it's like 10, 70, 20.
It's ridiculous. Like when I go into Palace of the Dead, which is essentially this it's a labyrinth dungeon where you go in and it's like random rooms each time. Whenever I go in there, because it doesn't do the like tank healer DPS thing,
You can
it
go in
mixes it up.
anything.
Yeah, it's usually me who's a bard and about 2 samurai and 1 red mage. Sometimes you can switch it up and it could be 2 red mage and a samurai, just to spice things up a bit. But basically, those are the main people I've been running into recently. And it's like, Yoshi P, my dude, during this expansion, it would be really cool if you could incorporate, let's say, a dancer as a healer. Just give us something to make those queues a little bit easier.
No.
It makes me wonder
Okay.
if a game like Overwatch had something like that, where you picked your role and then like queued up for like random. If you happened to be doing random that way, if that would help or hurt. But then I think it's
No,
a
what
game
you
that
would do
encourages
is
you, it encourages you to switch characters constantly, so that doesn't really work.
But like
you know?
MOBAs have that, like Quick Match in fucking Heroes of the Storm has that, and you pick a warrior,
God, yeah.
you get in a little faster. You pick an assassin, you're more likely to get an all assassin game, which is a shit show.
Okay.
Because it's like, oh, I want the match quickly.
Because if you're sick of like, okay, we need healers needed, Hanzo, then you kind of like you can probably avoid that by going like, look, I'm a healer, I'm looking to join up to any game as a healer.
To put the stupid waiting shit show with Raubon and Pippin, what was it? Pippin's Sloppy Ride is what people were calling it. It's the name of the Reddit topic. People go, okay, Red Knight, Red Mage, and Samurai start at level 50 because they're new classes, so that you don't have to catch up. And people go, okay, well, I can't play the new Stormblood shit. I'll go and level these old ones to 60, so that when the problem is fixed, I'll just walk through with my Red Mage. So, okay, people start to do that, and this is Friday morning. So around Saturday morning, Saturday around noon. Not only is the line bigger because it's Saturday, it is now filled with everybody who hit level 60 with those classes because they thought that the time would be over.
Ooh, it's a good launch.
And there are eventually people that are grinding so hard in that first zone that they're level 70. They're at the new level cap, and they're standing next to this guy. Like,
Billy level shit.
And it's such a bummer because like every time we try to talk about something new or interesting in this expansion, it all comes back to this is how it affected the line.
Right.
Because that was the game for 50 hours.
Clemps, was this the entirety of your week?
You got a point. Well, I guess for most of it, I was trying to finish up the Odin Sphere video, and I was